Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, everybody? John Impemba here with Colby, Conway. Welcome to the Better Baseball MLB DFS Playbook Show here on a Thursday for a 5-game main slate. Colby, we had a little bit of day baseball action. We got NFL tonight, but wedged in between all of that, we got a 5-game slate over on DraftKings to talk about, my friend.
Yep, I will take, once baseball season ends, excuse me, you're kind of like, I'll take any baseball over no baseball, but sure. I told you before we got on here, I hate the slate. I will take it over not having one at all, but this lineup, I feel like my analysis tonight is going to be like just default to one team and move on.
Well, again, it is 5 games, so this will be a quicker show than usual. Of course, we do have the playbook out over on Fantasy Salon for everybody to check out. You can get your questions in on the Discord here today to help you set those lineups as we go into the 7 o'clock roster lock for this evening here. But again, Texas, Toronto, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, New York, Boston on the second game of their doubleheader. Minnesota, Chicago, and San Francisco, Colorado are the games on the slate. Having cores on a small game slate is always tough as a 10-game total. Then there's a couple of pitchers on the slate that are pretty easy picking when it comes to where we want to go with our lineup build. So we'll get into all of that tonight. Before we do so, though, shout out to RT Sports. Go to rtsports.com/alarm. Promo code alarm23. New users will get a 100% deposit match with their first deposit. They partake in their DFS contest, in their pick'em contest. You can use that 100% deposit match over there to get your action in over at RT Sports. Colby and I are going to give us our DFS pick'em plays of the day. Taking a look at the boards here tonight, Colby. Again, it's only 5 games, so not a ton of baseball props. Maybe we can throw in a football prop there, too, if you have one. But starting with baseball, what are you looking at here tonight?
Well, I'll be pretty chalky here. Let's go to Colorado. We'll go to Coors Field. Give me Mike Yastrzemski with more than 6.5 fantasy points. Really hoping that he leads off tonight. If he does, 944 slug over his last 6 games. He gets to go to Coors. He gets to face a pitcher who has struggled with lefties all year to the tune of 545 slug and 393 WOBA. Give me Mike Yastrzemski more than 6.5 fantasy points.
Yeah, love that one. I'm going to go to the other chalky spot tonight if I had to guess, and that's the Minnesota-Chicago game here. Jose Urena is on the mound for the White Sox. He hasn't had an ERA under 5 in 5 years. His ERA this year in 6 starts is over 7, and against left-handed hitters, he's allowing a 700 slugging percentage of 400 plus WOBA, 380 batting average. It's bad. It is really bad. He's allowing 3.6 homers per 9. So let's go over here. Let's go with the Jorge Polanco, more than half a run. Going to hit at the top of that lineup for Minnesota here. Going to get an opportunity to score. I love the Kepler play as well. If you wanted to stack it, you could. I think both of those are in play here tonight against Urena. I don't see how he gets out of this one without allowing just a boatload of runs. On the Better Sports Betting Show I gave out, his over 2.5 earned is plus 100 on DraftKings tonight. You're getting even money on Urena over 2.5 earned runs. I feel like that is a very suspicious line. I feel like that should be a 3.5 earned run line or a minus 150 on the 2.5, not a plus 100. So sign me up for the Urena damage tonight with the Twins.
I like that one as well. And I think when you look at that too, honestly, you're going to get to it. I think any Minnesota bat is in play tonight. Yeah. I think that's just the end of the story. It's just a matter of pick your name and then just pick the bad statistic for Jose Urena and you're going to be just fine.
Yes, it's pretty bad. Righties, it's like a 4.2 homer per 9 against 2. It's awful. Everybody's getting smashed. Any other plays for you on the slate tonight?
You took the one there, and then you also mentioned the other one. It would have been Kepler. I think you can go Kepler over or more than half a total run. Yeah. I think he's in play. Again, Minnesota bats in play tonight. Just take the more, whatever it is, for any Minnesota bat.
Yep, I'll agree with you. I'll throw a football play in here for the people at home as well. We got a Thursday night football matchup. I'm a big fan tonight of the TJ Hawkinson receptions. It's at 5. We saw the Patriots tight ends light up the Eagles secondary and linebacking group. Now they're injured in this game as well. So I think the Hawkinson 5 receptions is where I'm going to go. Any football plays for you?
That was the one that I had. I was debating between the yards and the reception just because of what we saw New England do in week 1 with targeting them. And then Eagles secondary, you look at it, I would probably go at the tight end that's who I would look to target too,
Yeah.
because the corners aren't bad. So yeah, and I mean, we saw Hawkinson, he had like 72 targets and like X amount of yards. I mean, he may not be used downfield a ton. I think that will change as it goes on, but at the very least, we know he's got a workload and he's super effective. So I like that receptions line.
All right, so that's a chance at 10 extra money today over on RT Sports. You got Mike Yastrzemski, more than 6.5 fantasy points. Jorge Polanco, more than half a run. Max Kepler, more than half a run. And then TJ Hawkinson, 5 receptions going on the Moore side for that one. Again, go to rtsports.com/alarm, promo code alarm23. New users will get that 100% deposit match with their first deposit when they sign up. Moving now over to the main feature of the evening. We're going to take a look at this DraftKings main slate. As we talked about, Colby, 5 games here. Texas, Toronto, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, New York, Boston, Minnesota, Chicago, San Francisco, Colorado. When it goes to pitching on this slate, we have Gausman, Eovaldi, Bradish, and Savali all up over $9,000. Where do you find yourself leaning this evening?
Am I crazy for Bradish being my favorite play?
Nope.
Of the 3? Okay, good. Then I don't have to go into a diatribe and trying to explain myself. But Gausman at home, the narrative's there. Yes, he had 38 last time, but some of those numbers before that is not exactly what I want from my $11,000 pitcher. Eovaldi, you just can't play him right now. No matter how good the matchup is. I mean, he's only up to 47 pitches. I mean, it can't do that.
No.
Nothing with Eovaldi. And then you look at Bradish. I can't believe he's the third price guy when he's coming off 29, 20, 25, 31, 19. Tampa Bay's been striking out against right-handed pitching of late, and Bradish has 5 straight quality starts, 38-6 strikeout to walk ratio. Bradish, in my eyes, should be the highest owned pitcher on the slate, and I'm assuming he's going to make it into our lineup.
Yeah, I would, again, given the fact that on a smaller slate, it's also very hard to spend $11,000 tonight on Gausman as well. So if you're just looking sort of where the rostership is going to be spread out, there's only so many different spots that you can go. I'm going to pull up the rostership right there for the main slate on DraftKings here this evening as it is, because I'm pretty sure that'll be confirmed. Let's see, our top projected starting pitcher on the main slate it's actually, you know what? It's still looking like Gausman, which is a little surprising. People are getting there. Maeda is actually your second highest rostered pitcher, and then Bradish after him. So people are finding ways to get Gausman in their lineup. For me, I think the 2 pitchers I just mentioned is where I would go. Bradish and Kenta Maeda, and then move on.
Those are the 2 that I had input in there. And the other one I toyed around with, if you're going to do multiple lineups, I would throw a bone to Logan Webb.
Yep.
Just because Colorado's offense is not all that scary. They have gotten a little bit of bump with Chris Bryant back in the lineup. He's homered in back-to-back days, if I do believe. So he's in there. But if you're making multiple lineups, you go Webb. But if you're going in single entry or anything like that, you're just doing cash games, Bradish and Maeda stand clear above the rest of his options tonight.
Yeah, 100%. On the Better Sports Betting Show, I do give out Logan Webb under 2.5 earned. So I do ride the Webb train with you. If I'm making 3 lineups, I'm doing a Bradish Webb, Bradish Maeda, Bradish lineup basically, or a Webb Maeda lineup basically, 3 maxing that out there. So those are the 3 because I didn't care much for the value. Clark Schmidt, Chase Anderson, Jose Urena, and Brandon Walter, I think it is. Brandon Walter is going to be the opener for that AAA game most likely. So I don't want to touch the value here. Schmidt against Boston. I know he's had some success at times. But he's very bad against lefties, and the Red Sox can throw 6 or 7 lefties in their lineup tonight. And Anderson and Urena are just I can't believe they're still pitching at a major league level. Teams are still giving them jobs. It doesn't make much sense.
I agree. Boston has been striking out a little bit against righties of late, so there's like something going for.
Yeah, King had like 8 Ks today, I think, in 4 innings. So for
Schmidt there, but yeah, there's Boston left-handed bats I like tonight that we'll talk about.
Yep. I agree with you. Moving on over to the catcher. Again, if you guys have any questions, pop them in chat. Mark in here saying he's sad that James is missing all the Twins. I know. Listen, it is a Twins night tonight. We are Twins fans, so maybe he's tuning in. We'll get a lineup in. At the catcher spot, where do you find yourself gravitating towards this evening?
Well, if you're paying up, I do like Adley. And then if you drop down a little bit, I like Alejandro Kirk. I know he hasn't been good of late, but he is 5 for 8 in his career against Nathan Eovaldi, and Eovaldi has not been all of that since he's returned. And actually, he's let up 2 homers here since he's returned from the injury, both to right-handers, both to the same right-hander actually.
Right.
But it's the right-handers that have got to him a little bit. So I think Kirk is an option. I'm really, honestly, if we're going to be honest with each other, I'm waiting for that Giants lineup, and whatever Giants catcher they put out there is probably the one I'm going to play.
Yeah, Patrick Bailey currently projected to be the highest roster catcher at over 20% tonight. So a lot of people are sort of just in your same field of view, whatever Giants catcher's in, I'm in. After him, Austin Wells is your next projected roster catcher, and then Christian Vasquez, $2,500. Again, just getting exposure against Jose Urania tonight. Vasquez is a punt play. It feels pretty good. I know he hasn't had the best season. He's certainly not in great form, but the fact that he's in the lineup tonight or expected to be in the lineup tonight, hitting 9th against Urania, could just all it takes is one at bat against a really bad pitcher.
That indeed. And then also, I guess, could you look to like a Connor Wong type? I think you could, but it's one of those things where, like, if you're gonna get
Reese
to
McGuire,
Wong,
actually, that lineup just got released.
Okay.
Reese McGuire isn't a catcher, so you could go there. They have 1, 2. So the Red Sox, after Ceddanne Rafaela, who homered today, is leading off. They have Devers, Verdugo, Casas, Yoshida, Abreu. So that's 5 straight lefties in their lineup against Clark Schmidt tonight. So
they know what they're doing.
I know that they pay attention to the FanGraph numbers there for sure. So that's my lone worry with Schmidt, the fact that the Red Sox are committing to the lefty-heavy lineup here.
Yep, and it should fare well for them. And I guess now that you talked about, I know we're not going to shortstop next, but I'm pretty sure we have our shortstop locked in already. Or at least the outfielder, whichever one we end up putting in.
I am a Ceddanne Rafaela stan, and for good reason. He's been very good since being called up.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move over to first base here then. On the show last night, of the podcast that you guys tuned into last night or this morning, Mark really liked Lamonte Wade, and the ownership is kind of right there. 3 guys just clumped together. It's Alex Kirilloff at $3,100. Wilmer Flores is $49, and then Lamonte Wade is $41. All 3 of those guys are right there around 12 to 15% rostership tonight.
Love Lamont Wade. If you go up a couple $100, I feel like a broken record, but Schmidt, righty, bad against lefties. I love Tristan Casas. Yeah. Powers there, so I do like him. I don't think first base is a spot to pay up beyond Tristan Casas tonight. I think that's the highest place that you want to get to. I mean, could you do Wilmer Flores? I mean, he's been fine, 894 OPS over his last 10. You could, but to me, first base is going to be Casas, Lamont Wade, or if you're going Minnesota stack, you're going to throw Alex Kirilloff in there and hope that he pulls it around.
Yep, I agree with you 100%. Moving on over to the second base position here, where do you find yourself, again, gravitating towards a spot where spending up, Marcus Simeon's your top price, 61, Schneider, 53, and then you have the Coors Field exposure, Estrada at 5K as your top 3 price second baseman. You
could do Estrada. I don't not like it, but I think second base is highlighted by take your pick of which Minnesota guy do you want.
Yeah,
I think that's what it comes down to. Julian hasn't been good of late. Excuse me. Jorge Polanco's got the BVP numbers. I don't know if you've seen it against Jose Urania.
Yeah.
A perfect 7 for 7. We don't get that too often. Is that a large enough sample size? For the sake of my analysis, I'm going to say so. And Polanco's been a little bit better in late of Julian with a OPS over 1,000 over his last 10. So Polanco's the guy that I've really settled into here as my second baseman. But if I have the money, I could be sold on getting up to Estrada. I could do Julian. I would just prefer to try to get for $500.
Julian is the projected highest roster second baseman tonight, probably leading off, but that just makes Polanco an even more appealing pivot, given the fact that he's the one hitting better right now. So, and
he's only hitting second. We're talking one spot in the lineup. Like, that's not enough to move the needle for me personally.
Yeah, I think what it is that because half the field is paying for Kevin Gausman tonight, they're needing that savings, right? They need the $500 off Polanco to Julian. So, like, if you're like us and we're not playing Kevin Gausman tonight, then you don't need to find the money to go down there and be a little different. So.
Yep.
Anybody else at second base for you?
Maybe Jordan Westberg, if you want to go after Savali, or if you want to go at Savali and just get a little exposure to Baltimore. He's been really, really good of late. When you look at some of his fantasy numbers and the overall numbers, they've been pretty good, 345 average over his last 10. So I think you could go down to him. But to me, I think if you're going down to Westberg, it's because you got Gausman and you're trying to cut some cost, and that's the spot to do it. I think second base. I mean, for me, pretty much every lineup build I've done has started with Jorge Polanco in there at second base, but I'm not opposed to Jordan Westberg.
Kyle Farmer has the dual positional eligibility, which is going to help some of his roster percentages, but he's sitting at 15% tonight. Now, you generally like Kyle Farmer against lefties, not righties, but again, Urena is allowing an over 4 homer per 9 to right-handed bats this year. So if you want to get some Kyle Farmer in there, hitting 300 with 1,000 OPS over the last 10, he's $2,900. So because at third base, Royce Lewis, shocker, is your highest projected rostered third baseman. I do love Devers at 56, but difficult to get to him at his cost because of where it seems like we're looking to go here tonight. But Lewis is your number 1. Farmer is your number 2. Devers is for Oswald Peraza is actually your third highest projected third baseman tonight.
Yep, and then obviously here you also have Jordan Westburg. You can look to him if you're going to go there. JD Davis is also there, assuming he cracks the lineup.
Right.
I don't mind him there against a righty, as he's been pretty good of late, actually putting out a little power numbers there. So don't mind that. Third base is interesting. I actually think you can get to Devers, depending on how you end up constructing your lineup, especially if you're going to fade Gausman. Basically, if you're going Gausman, you're not getting Devers. That's just how it's going to work on this small slate. But I definitely think we could actually get to Devers. And when you look at like a build, you could do a mini stack of lefties against Boston with like Rafaela and Devers. And that's honestly not the biggest blow to your bankroll, all things considered.
I would agree. Over at shortstop tonight, Anthony Volpe is your highest projected shortstop play this evening. Again, people, they're paying, half the field's paying $11K for Gausman. They're finding the value here. Volpe is 18% projected here. And then it just kind of throw a dart at the rest of the field. Again, I like Ceddanne Raphael. Is he here at shortstop? I don't even see it. There he is, $3,200. So he's leading off again tonight. I would have no problem running that back. He's a pretty exciting player. Save you a little bit more cash. Anybody else for you at short?
You wouldn't mind running it back. I'd love to do that. I would love to play him at shortstop. So maybe I'm a little more excited than you are about a Red Sox.
No, dude, I'm in. I'm 100% in. Again, I don't find myself looking to spend up for any of these other options. I see 3 who says he loves Toronto tonight. Yeah, listen, I like him against Eovaldi too. The problem is, like, I don't know how long Eovaldi's going to pitch, and then you could just be getting a run of one inning of relievers throwing 98, and sometimes that doesn't play out. So. But I could see it if they get to Eovaldi early enough. Definitely can have the run score.
If you have the money at short, all right. Let me hit you with 2 questions here.
Sure.
Would you go to Seager against Gausman, and then is tonight the night against Eovaldi that Bichette breaks this not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4-game hitless run?
It might be. It's a good matchup for him to do so. I think I'd probably wedge myself between the 2 you just mentioned, though, and just go Gunner.
Split the difference and call it even.
Just split the difference, call it even. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Prince saying FanDuel didn't use the Boston game. Yeah, they because it was a doubleheader, FanDuel ended up not including it. So unfortunately, that's fine. The Prince though, play Twins. You'll be more than happy with that this evening for sure. Volpe, I see 3 you saying Volpe at short, Rafaela at outfield for sure. Definitely can run it that way and get the double spend downs there to spend up at other positions 100%. Outfield here, Judge, Robert, Arozarena, Nolan Jones has kind of a tough spot. Sedmul against Savali. Where do you find yourself looking to go in the outfield tonight?
Well, John, I'll be honest with you. If you go up in those lists of the games right there, where you see the 5 games, if you just click on Minnesota, we can pull up just the Minnesota outfielders, and I think right there.
Play Willie Cal today.
Yep, play all 3. Just stick all 3 in the outfield. I think you could definitely look to some of those guys of the higher ones. If you're not going with Logan Webb and like one of the builds that you have, I do like Chris Bryant. The BVP numbers aren't great against Logan Webb, admittedly, but since Bryant's come back, he's putting things together a little bit. Hits in each game, homers in 2 of them. After that first game, hasn't punched out yet, so I do like that. I think you can go with him. The Boston left-handed bats are fine. Yeah, I love Mike Yastrzemski at 4,400. I think you can go for him. He seems underpriced being in cores in this matchup. And then Max Kepler at $4,000.
Yeah, Kepler's great. Again, Wallner homer. Really cash show someone we loved the other day. He was actually on the cover of Mark's Value Vault value article, and he ended up homering on that day as well. So Castro is a pretty cheap option. I'm pulling up Chase Anderson and his split numbers for everybody who's tuning in. We appreciate you all tuning in. If you haven't yet liked and subscribed, do so. Get notified whenever we go live. We'll have the Thursday Night Football live stream at 7 to 8 o'clock, myself and Andrew Cooper. So if you want to hang with the channel here, tune in for some football start, sit, and Thursday Night Football DFS and betting talk We'll be live there 7 to 8 answering everybody's questions. For Chase Anderson against lefties this year, 539 slug, 385 WOBA, 297 batting average. Against righties has been a little bit better, but not much better. 535 slugging, 379 WOBA. Just bad all around. 2.3 homers per 9 to righties, 2.3 homers per 9 to lefties. So it can just play the Giants as you wish. As a 10 over under total.
Yeah, and when you look at him just specifically at Coors this year, 5.70 earned run average, 5.18 slug. Regardless of lefty or righty, it's there, even 2 homer per 9. So he's been bad in general and just as bad in Coors Field, which we know is great for the hitter. So yep, fire up the Giants.
What twin is your home run call tonight?
What twin? We're doing two separate questions. My regular home run call and my twin.
What's your regular home run call?
Mike Yastrzemski.
Mike Yastrzemski. Okay. What twin is homering for you?
My twin that's going to homer tonight is going to be Jorge Polanco.
Jorge Polanco. I like that. My home run call today, I'll just stick with it. We're going to go Tristan Casas at first base is my home run call. And then my twin homer, I'm going to go with Willie Castro.
Yes.
So, all right. Let's our favorite stacks we know is Minnesota here. If we're excluding Minnesota, where are you going for the stack department tonight?
I guess I'll stay chalky and go San Fran.
Okay, I'll go Boston. We'll run those 3. Minnesota can be a value, can also be your value stack tonight. We talked about the outfield, super cheap, infield super cheap. So Minnesota will be the value and not one of our favorites overall. You'll go San Francisco. I'll go Boston. Let's build a lineup here. We liked Bradish, and do we want to go Maeda here, or do we want to go Logan Webb?
Ooh. Can we leave it blank?
Yeah.
And see our money?
We don't know what's going to go for San Francisco. We'll plug Bailey, and we'll see. We'll go from there.
Yep.
If we have any money left, we'll figure it out. First base. I like Casas here. Second base, you said Polanco for your home run call. Third base, where are we going at third? Are we going value here?
Do you want to try? You want to put Devers in and just see what we end up coming out with? Because we got some cheap options.
$4,600. We liked Sedan, Rafaela, and then we had Castro,
Yastrzemski.
Do
you want to go Kepler?
Yeah, what does that get us here? 83 gets us Maeda. So with $500 to play, so we can figure out who's going to catch with Bailey there. But we'll have money to fool around with it. Kirk, who is playing, we liked. Vasquez for Minnesota's 25 to get us as much money really as we wanted to, if we wanted to get there. But we'll stick with Bailey for now. Again, Bailey's the one that playing a little bit more frequently for the Giants here. So Bradish, Maeda, Bailey, Casas, Polanco, Devers, Rafaela, Castro, Yastrzemski, Kepler gives us 3 Twins, 3 Red Sox, a Giant, 2 Giants here for some stacks. DePrince wants to know Santander or Bryant in their FanDuel lineup tonight if you had to pick one.
I'd go Chris Bryant.
Chris Bryant tonight against Logan Webb. I agree. You probably just got to go the Coors. Even though Logan Webb did just shut them out. If you actually look at the 3 starts Webb made against the Rockies this year, and it was actually, again, Mark in our chat here brought this up to me earlier. The 1 start in Coors for Webb was the one that he got hammered in. So, it could just be a spot where his pitches don't play well in Coors and you get some exposure there. So go Chris Bryant. Has a 2-game home run streak there for everybody. So, again, short show for everybody, Den. Just 5 games on the slate. Get us in the Discord if you have any questions. Find us on Twitter. Follow Colby at Colby R. Conway. Follow me on Twitter at Impemba 777. Get us your questions in the chat. We'll be back tomorrow live answering everybody's questions for then. Good luck, everybody, tonight. And stay tuned for the 7 o'clock live stream. Myself and Andrew Cooper talking some NFL Week 2 start sit, Thursday Night Football action. We'll talk to you later. Good luck, everybody.